Date 2. Sorry we could not make it. Things came up, my mom said after missing my son's birthday. 2 days later, I got a charge for $7,900, VIP executive box at an NFL game, 3 seats. I reversed it, paused the joint card, and sent, expect contact from my attorney. 5 minutes later, my dad called 14 times in a row. My sister's last text read, we are outside in the rain. I smiled and replied, sorry, we could not make it. Things came up. What is wrong with you? Dad barked the second he saw me. You canceled a card without even warning us. Without warning you? I stepped back just enough so they could see the warmth of my house, the dry couch, the lamp glow, the smell of coffee, while they stood soaked in the doorway. You mean the card you just used to blow $7,900 at an NFL game? That card? Mom jumped in, voice high and trembling. It was for an important client meeting. You don't understand how business works. Business? I cut her off. Neither of you has set foot in an office in 10 years. And last I checked, my sister's unemployed boyfriend isn't a client. Megan's head snapped up, eyes flashing. You're unbelievable. We needed that experience. Experience? I laughed in her face. You needed it so much you couldn't even pick up the phone to wish your nephew happy birthday. You had no problem finding time for shrimp cocktails in a luxury box, though. Dad stepped forward, his wet shoes leaving muddy prints on my doormat. That card was for family emergencies. My attorney disagrees, I said flatly. And if you think I won't go through with it, go ahead, test me. He's already reviewing the charge, the card history, and every single emergency you've had in the last 3 years. Spoiler, NFL tickets don't qualify. Dad's eyes narrowed, an attorney against your own parents. Against anyone who misused our joint account, I said. Being family doesn't make taking money without permission okay. And last I checked, I interrupted, skipping your grandson's birthday to go play corporate big shot isn't an emergency. It's theft. You don't talk to me like that in my presence, Dad growled, his voice dropping low like he was trying to reassert the old control. I just stared at him. In your presence? Dad, you're standing in my house. You don't get to bark orders here. That landed. His mouth opened, then closed again. I could see it, he wasn't used to me pushing back. Megan tried the guilt angle next. We're family, Alex. You're seriously going to leave us out here? It's pouring. We just need a place too. I stepped back into the doorway, leaning against the frame. You've had a place, my support, my money, my time for years, and you burned every ounce of that goodwill. Mom's lip quivered. You wouldn't be here without us. We gave you life. Yeah, I said, my voice flat. And I've been repaying that debt ever since, apparently with interest. But guess what? The bank is closed. The rain kept coming down, making their clothes stick to their bodies. Dad's jaw was clenched so tight I could hear his teeth grind. You're making a mistake, he said finally. When you need us. I cut him off again, sharper this time. When I need you. You've made it crystal clear there's nothing you'd actually show up for unless there's something in it for you. I did need you when my son was born, when I bought my first house, when I asked for help moving. But every time, you had something come up. The only time you show up is when there's a check involved. Megan's eyes were wet now, but not from the rain. We had plans for that money. Yeah. Well, I have plans for mine, too. And they don't include subsidizing your lifestyle anymore. I could feel my heart pounding, but it wasn't from fear. It was from the surge of something I hadn't felt in years, control. Dad tried one last push. If you close the door on us right now, don't expect this family to ever be the same. I stepped forward, close enough to see the rain dripping off the end of his nose. That's the point. And then slowly, deliberately, I shut the door. The pounding started again immediately, but I turned and walked into the living room. My son was sitting there in his pajamas, building Lego towers. He looked up at me. Who is at the door, Dad? I smiled. Just some people who forgot what family means. From the other side of the door, the shouting turned into muffled arguing between the three of them. I sipped my coffee, sat down next to my boy, and started adding blocks to his tower. Let them stand in the rain. They'd spent years making me feel small, guilty, and obligated. Tonight, they could feel something else, powerless. Because for the first time in my life, I wasn't giving in. The pounding on my door stopped after a few more minutes, replaced by the sound of hurried footsteps splashing down my driveway. Then silence. For the rest of the evening, my phone barely rested. First, the texts rolled in from my sister, long paragraph-sized guilt trips about family bonds and how could you embarrass us like that? Then came the voicemails from my dad, each angrier than the last. You've made your point, Alex. Now open the card back up before you do something you can't take back. You've crossed the line. We don't do this to family. The irony nearly made me choke on my coffee. I didn't respond, not that night, not the next morning either. I blocked them on social media, muted their numbers, and went about my day like nothing had happened. My son and I went to the park, grabbed ice cream on the way home, and laughed until our stomachs hurt. It was the first time in years I felt light, like someone had cut a set of chains off my back. It didn't take long for the wider family to get involved. 3 days later, my cousin Jenna called me out of the blue. Hey, so your mom's been telling everyone you kicked them out in the pouring rain. I snorted. She leave out the part where they stole $8 grand from me first? Jenna laughed. Oh, she definitely left that part out. According to her, it was just a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding, right? Because everyone accidentally buys a VIP box at an NFL game. The story spread fast. Half my relatives were blowing up my phone with messages ranging from we need to talk to don't let pride ruin family ties. The other half, the ones who'd had their own run-ins with my parents' entitled behavior, sent quiet, supportive texts, things like good for you. Should have done it years ago. Finally, someone told them no. And then out of nowhere, I got a message from my dad's younger brother, Uncle Mark. He'd cut ties with my parents a decade ago after a fight over money. I hadn't heard from him in years. Kid, I heard what happened. If they try anything legal, call me first. I've been where you are. That message stuck with me. It wasn't just validation. It was confirmation. This wasn't me overreacting. This was a pattern. Meanwhile, my parents doubled down. About a week later, I got a letter in the mail, an actual printed letter, because apparently passive-aggressive guilt lands better on stationery. It was 3 pages long, filled with all the classics. We've always done our best for you. You wouldn't be where you are without our sacrifices. We never thought you'd turn your back on your own blood. They ended it with a gem. Return the card privileges immediately, and we can put this behind us. I read it twice, folded it neatly, and dropped it straight into the shredder. Greg called me the same day the letter arrived. They've got no legal ground, he said matter-of-factly. If they push, we'll counter with a claim for damages. And yes, emotional distress counts. I hadn't even considered that last part, damages. For years of financial exploitation, for the countless times I'd bitten my tongue instead of calling them out. The idea that there could be an actual legal price tag on their behavior was strangely satisfying.